The courtroom door slammed open. A little girl marched in, chin high, eyes blazing with defiance. She pointed at Judge Judy and sneered, "You don't belong here. You're just an old clown in a robe." Gasps tore through the room. Silence followed, heavy, absolute. Cameras froze. Judge Judy didn't shout, didn't flinch. She reached for a single blue file, her eyes locked on the child. What she revealed inside wasn't law, it was truth. And when you learn who the girl's real father was, and why she came to humiliate the judge, the shock silenced everyone. But before we jump in, tell me, where are you watching from? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The blue file sits in Judge Judy's hands like a quiet storm, waiting for permission to break. The girl's defiant stare doesn't waver, not even under the courtroom lights that make every lie look brighter. Somewhere in that silence, truth starts moving. The air in the room feels too tight, stretched thin between the child's bold entrance and the unsettling calm that follows. The little girl stands with her chin lifted just enough to hide the tremor in her lower lip. 10 years old, but armored with a kind of anger that never belongs to someone her age. It is borrowed, learned, planted. Judge Judy studies her with the kind of patience that unnerves even adults. No raised voice, no flash of irritation, just an unbroken line of awareness, as if she already knows this outburst is not the girl's true voice, only the echo of someone else's. The mother hovers by the doorway, her hands clasped too tightly, knuckles pale. She tries to steady her breathing, but each exhale betrays guilt she has not yet spoken aloud. The girl does not look at her. Not once, not even when the mother whispers her name in a soft, fractured plea. Judy opens the blue file slowly, the sound of the clasp clicking free echoing like a small warning through the room. The cameras tilt in, catching every movement. The girl's eyes narrow in defiance, but Judy sees past the bravado, to the confusion tucked deep behind it. Inside the file lies more than case notes, more than guardianship records, more than the scribbled discipline reports from teachers who noticed a change in the girl after her father vanished. There are letters, handwritten notes, and one sealed page still folded exactly the way he left it. Judy does not touch the sealed note yet. Instead, her fingers pause on a document stamped in faded ink, a statement from someone who should have been here today but is not, someone whose absence weighs more than his presence ever did. The mother shifts her weight, unable to hold her silence. Her breath trembles when Judy glances up at her. That look alone is enough to make the truth stir dangerously close to the surface. The girl steps forward, as though trying to reclaim control of a room she never really had. "Just read it," she snaps, but her voice breaks on the last word. Judy hears the crack, not the sound of disrespect, but the sound of a child almost ready to shatter. Judy lowers her eyes back to the file, scanning a single line written in hurried pen. Her posture changes, subtle but unmistakable, a shift the room feels before it understands. The mother's hands fall to her sides, the girl's breath catches, even the cameras stop moving. Judy lifts her gaze, her voice steady as steel. "Child," she says quietly, "do you know who wrote these words?" The mother steps forward, but her voice does not follow. Her silence enters the courtroom before she does, trembling, apologetic, already defeated. Even the girl feels it, though she refuses to look back. The mother stands just inside the doorway, as if crossing fully into the courtroom might collapse whatever fragile courage she has left. The light above her flickers, casting brief shadows across her face, the kind that make guilt easier to see. Her hands twist together slowly, the nervous rhythm of someone who has rehearsed a confession but cannot bear to say it aloud. Judge Judy watches her without blinking, not in accusation, but in the way a surgeon studies a wound before deciding where to cut. "Ma'am," Judy says, her voice level, "come closer." The mother swallows hard. Each step forward feels like she is walking against a heavy wind. She avoids her daughter's stare, eyes darting to the floor, the wall, anywhere but the child who stands rigid with anger that does not belong to her. When she finally speaks, the words barely survive the trip out of her mouth. "Your Honor, she is just confused." The girl snaps her head toward her mother, fury igniting instantly. "I am not confused. You said she jabs a finger toward Judge Judy. "Ruined everything." A ripple of shock rolls through the courtroom. The mother's eyes squeeze shut, as though the truth spoken aloud burns. Judy does not react, not visibly. Instead, she taps the corner of the blue file with one measured finger. "I asked you earlier," she says gently, "if your daughter understood why she is here today." The mother nods, then shakes her head, two opposite truths colliding in one broken gesture. She thinks. The mother's throat tightens. She believes that you are the reason her father is gone. The courtroom stills again, heavier than before. The little girl's glare sharpens into something brittle, something that looks too much like betrayal for a child her age to carry. Judy leans forward slightly, the overhead light catching the silver in her hair. "And why," she asks, "would she believe such a thing?" The mother's lips part, but nothing comes out. Her eyes flick briefly toward her daughter, a look filled with apology, fear, and a desperation that has nowhere to land. She finally forces herself to speak. "She overheard things," the mother whispers, "arguments, accusations, words not meant for her." Judy's brow lowers a fraction, not displeasure, but calculation, a puzzle beginning to rotate into alignment. "And yet," Judy says, lifting the blue file, "there is more to this than overheard arguments. Your daughter did not come in here blazing with rage because of one mistake." The mother's breath shudders. Her shoulders curl inward as if protecting a secret she has held too long. "She thinks you ruined her family," the mother finally admits, "because someone told her you did." Judy's gaze sharpens like cold steel. Her voice drops to a near whisper, the kind that makes grown men rethink their choices. "Who?" Judy asks. "Put that idea in her head?" The girl crosses her arms tightly, as if bracing against a truth she knows is coming. Her glare sharpens, rehearsed and borrowed, the kind of anger a child learns, not feels. Judge Judy watches her, waiting for the truth to step out from behind the fear. The tension in the room shifts, subtle but unmistakable. The mother's confession still hangs in the air, trembling like the last note of a broken song. The girl stares straight ahead, jaw clenched, refusing to let uncertainty show on her face, but her foot taps, just once, a tiny giveaway of a storm she cannot contain. Judy notices. She notices everything. "Child," Judy says softly, "look at your mother." The girl does not. Her chin lifts higher, defiantly, deliberately. "She already lied," the girl says. "She always lies when she is scared." The mother flinches as though struck. "Sweetheart, please." "No." The girl's voice cracks, but she forces it back into hardness. "Uncle Mark told me what happened. He told me you were too weak to stop her." She jerks her head toward Judge Judy again. "He said the judge kicked Dad out, said she humiliated him on TV, said he never came back because of her." Gasps ripple like cold air across the courtroom. Judy remains still, but a faint shadow crosses her eyes. Not anger, but recognition. She has seen this pattern before. A child weaponized by the lies of an adult who enjoys rewriting truth. The mother's eyes fill with panic. "Honey, Uncle Mark? Do not say he lied," the girl shouts. The sound echoes against the wooden walls, too loud for such a small frame. "He told me everything. He said Dad tried to fight back, but the judge destroyed him." Silence drops like a curtain. Judy breathes once, slow and measured. "And you believed him?" The girl opens her mouth but hesitates. The moment is brief, a flicker of doubt that darts across her face before she buries it. "Why wouldn't I?" she forces out. "He is family." Judy opens the blue file again, flipping past reports, letters, timestamps that do not match the uncle's story. She stops at a page circled in red, not by the court but by someone else, someone angry, someone sloppy. The mother sees the page and turns pale. Her hand rises to her mouth, trembling. I did not know he took that." Judy lifts a single brow. "So this page was not yours to give?" "No," the mother whispers. "He said he needed it, to show her the truth." Judy taps the circled name. "And why," she asks slowly, "is this the name he wanted the child to see?" The girl steps closer, trying to read the handwriting upside down. The color drains from her cheeks. She knows that name. She should not. The courtroom tilts into a heavy stillness as Judy closes the file with a quiet snap, a sound sharper than any shout. "Child," Judy says, her voice turning razor precise. Who told you this man was your father? The name on the page pulls the air out of the courtroom. The girl stares at it as though it might blink back at her. Judge Judy watches the confusion ripple across her face, the first crack in the lie she has been living. The courtroom feels colder now, as if the truth itself has lowered the temperature. The girl's defiance falters, her eyes locked on the circled name. Her breathing shifts, shallow, uneven, the way a child breathes when the world she trusted rearranges itself without warning. Judy softens her voice, not out of pity but precision. You said your uncle told you this man was your father. The girl nods slowly, though her body wavers. He said that was Dad's real name. He said you changed it in your system to hide him. She wraps her arms around herself. He said Dad never wanted us to find him. A murmur rises behind her, disbelief, pity, anger. But Judy raises a single hand and the courtroom falls silent again. She turns to the mother. Ma'am, when did you learn your brother was telling her this? The mother's knees nearly buckle. She grips the side of the table for support. I found out too late, she whispers. He showed her that document. He told her the father changed his name and disappeared after your decision. I tried to stop him, but she believed him more than me. The girl glares at her mother, but this time the anger is thinner, trembling around the edges. Because you did nothing. You let him leave. You let her, she points at Judy, ruin everything. For the first time, her voice breaks in a way that is not rage. It is grief clawing its way out. Judy leans back slightly, absorbing every detail. The girl's crumbling certainty, the mother's shaking regret, the way the blue file seems heavier now. Then she lifts the document with the circled name. This man, she says quietly, is not your father. He was never in this courtroom. He never appeared in any case related to your family. This name does not belong to any man connected to you. The girl's lips part. Stunned. But Uncle Mark said, your uncle, Judy interrupts, told you a story, a dangerous one. She flips the page, revealing the father's actual handwritten statement. The signature at the bottom is unmistakable, familiar, still alive in the girl's memory. The girl steps closer, as if the signature draws her in. That's his writing. Yes, Judy says, your father, the real one. The mother begins to cry silently, shoulders trembling with a guilt she can no longer hide. But Judy is not done. She turns another page, the sealed statement, and her expression darkens just slightly, enough to warn the room that something inside this file does not match the story they have been told. Ma'am, Judy says to the mother, there is something wrong with this document. The mother looks up, horrified, as if she already knows what Judy is about to uncover. Judy taps a line near the bottom, a date that should not exist. Your husband did not write this on the day he left, Judy says quietly. He could not have. He was already gone. The date on the page hangs in the air like a cold breath. The girl stares at it without blinking, as if understanding might hit her harder than disbelief. Her mother grips the edge of the table, bracing for a truth she can no longer outrun. For a moment, no one moves. The courtroom feels suspended between two realities, the story the girl was taught, and the truth that is slowly, painfully rearranging itself. Judge Judy turns the document so both mother and daughter can see the mismatched dates, one stamped officially, the other scratched in by hand. The handwriting is familiar, but the timeline is impossible. Your Honor, the mother whispers, her voice thinning into panic. I thought that was the last thing he wrote. Judy studies her. Did you read it fully? The mother shakes her head, shame coloring her cheeks. He left it on the table the morning he disappeared. I panicked. I put it away. I did not look again until Mark asked for it. The girl whips toward her mother. You gave it to him? He said it would help you understand, the mother pleads. He said you deserved the truth. The girl's expression twists, confused, betrayed, but still desperate to cling to the story she was fed. Uncle Mark wouldn't lie. He wouldn't. Judy closes the folder with a soft but decisive click. Let us test that theory. She fixes the mother with a steady gaze. When your husband left the house, did he take anything with him? Bags, clothes, money? The mother shakes her head again. Nothing. He said it would be just a few days. He said he had something to fix. Tears gather, but she forces herself to remain upright. He promised he'd be back. And did he mention Mark? Judy asks. The mother hesitates. Too long. Her silence answers before she does. He argued with him the night before, she admits quietly. They were shouting outside. I could not hear everything, but I know Mark accused him of ruining the family. The girl's eyes widen, hurt slicing through her anger. He never told me that. No, Judy says gently. He did not. The mother pulls in a trembling breath. When my husband did not return, Mark said he had been humiliated on television, that he could not face us after what happened. That you, she glances fearfully at Judy, had exposed him. Judy exhales slowly, not in frustration, but in understanding. Ma'am, I have never met your husband. He was never in my courtroom. The girl shakes her head violently. No, Uncle Mark said. Child, Judy interrupts softly, your uncle told you a story that made him look like the hero. The girl's face crumples just slightly, the first sign of her belief beginning to fracture. The mother wipes tears with the back of her sleeve. Your Honor, I think he took the letter. I think he changed it. He must have. The date, he must have added. Judy raises a hand, stopping her. The air shifts again, heavier, expectant. There is only one way to know. She signals to the bailiff. The courtroom door creaks open. Footsteps echo. The girl's breath catches. Judy doesn't look away from the child as she says, Bring him in. The bailiff's footsteps fade, but the tension they leave behind only grows. The girl stiffens, her breath snagging in her chest. Judge Judy folds her hands, calm, deliberate, the stillness before the first real fracture in the story. The blue file rests on the bench like it has gained weight, not physically, emotionally. Every page inside it presses on the air, reshaping the room's gravity. The girl stands frozen between fear and loyalty, her eyes darting to the door as if expecting her uncle to sweep in and confirm everything she has believed. The mother wipes her face quickly, trying to appear composed. But grief clings to her posture like a shadow she cannot shake. Judy leans forward, her gaze steady. Before he enters, she says quietly, I want you to understand what this means. The girl doesn't answer. Her hands curl into fists at her sides. Beneath her anger, tiny tremors betray the truth. She does not want answers. She wants her version of the world to hold, but lies crack long before they break. Judy taps the questionable document, the added date glaring back like an open wound. This is the first inconsistency. A man cannot write a letter on the day he no longer exists in your home. The mother swallows hard. Your Honor, I never checked the date. I should have, but you trusted him, Judy finishes, not unkindly, just truthfully. The girl snaps her gaze toward Judy, eyes blazing. You're trying to make him look bad. He was the only one who told me the truth. Judy does not flinch. Child, I'm not here to make anyone look bad. I'm here to uncover what is real. There is a difference. The girl falters, not visibly, but emotionally, like a rope pulled taut beginning to fray from the inside out. Judy lifts another page from the file, a communication record showing several attempted messages from the father after he supposedly vanished. Each one ignored, each one time-stamped, each one contradicting the uncle's story. These, Judy says, laying them out, are the second inconsistency. The mother gasps, covering her mouth as the realization spreads like cold water across her spine. He tried to reach us? Judy nods. Multiple times. The girl steps closer, staring at the documents, her breath quickening. But Uncle Mark said he did not want us anymore. And I'm showing you evidence, Judy replies softly, that your father never stopped trying. A deep quiet settles. Not peace, not calm. A shifting of belief, the first crack spreading across the foundation of the girl's anger. The door clicks. He appears. Uncle Mark walks in with forced confidence, shoulders high, chin lifted too quickly. But Judy sees the tension in his jaw, the flicker in his eyes. A man who has rehearsed his innocence but not his truth. The girl turns toward him, hope and fear colliding in her expression. Judy closes the file. Her eyes never leave the uncle as she says, Mark, We need to discuss the lies you have told this child. The door swings shut behind him, but the echo sticks to the walls like guilt. The uncle steps forward, wearing confidence like a borrowed coat, one size too big, already slipping at the seams. Judge Judy does not stand. She does not need to. Mark scans the room with a tight smile, the kind meant to disarm before anyone realizes they are holding their breath. His eyes flicker from the girl to her mother, then to Judge Judy. The smile dies a little each time. He straightens the cuffs of his shirt, a gesture too controlled to be casual. Your Honor, he greets, voice dipped in false politeness. I understand there has been some confusion. Judy lifts the blue file with one hand, the motion patient, surgical. Yes, she says, and you are going to help us clear it. The girl's face softens the moment she sees him. Her arms uncross, her shoulders settle. The anger she held so fiercely melts into something hopeful, something trusting. It breaks Judy's heart a little, not because the girl loves him, but because she loves him enough to believe the lie he built around her. Mark nods at her with an almost fatherly warmth. Pumpkin, do not worry. I will explain everything. Judy raises an eyebrow. You will answer my questions. That will be enough. The warmth drains from Mark's expression. His jaw tightens just for a moment, the first crack. Judy lays out the altered letter, the faked date, the ignored attempts from the real father. These are inconsistencies, she states calmly. You presented this as the final message from her father. You told her he abandoned them. You told her I drove him away. Mark's smile returns, too bright. Misunderstandings. You know how emotional situations can be. People misremember things. Judy tilts her head slightly, like she is listening for a sound beneath his words. Did the father write this? She asks. He hesitates, a fraction, barely visible, but enough. Well, he stammers, he dictated it, and I. So you wrote it, Judy cuts in. The girl's head whips toward him. Uncle Mark? He lifts his hands. Pumpkin, your father could not find the right words. Judy taps the letter. The handwriting is not his, the date is impossible, and the tone is yours. Mark's composure slips entirely now. His breath speeds up, his shoulders pull inward, the posture of a man who senses the truth circling him like a tightening rope. I was trying to protect her, he blurts. Her father was unstable, he was spiraling. Evidence? Judy asks. He opens his mouth, nothing comes out. The girl steps back, confusion clouding the certainty she once carried like armor. Uncle Mark, why would you lie? He turns to her, but the polished charm he relied on now wavers, revealing something harsher beneath. Everything I did was for you. Judy closes the file with a soft thud, final, undeniable. Her gaze sharpens. Mark, she says, you did not protect this child, you manipulated her. The girl's breath hitches, a tiny, broken sound she tries to hide. For the first time, her anger does not land on Judy. It turns inward. Something inside her begins to recognize the shape of a lie she has been living. The room feels smaller now, folded inward around the girl as though the walls themselves want to comfort her. She stares at Mark, wide-eyed, searching his face for something she can still trust. He tries to hold her gaze, but his eyes keep slipping away, flicking to Judy, to the file, to the door behind him, anywhere but the child he claimed to protect. Uncle Mark, she says, her voice trembling at the edges, did you really write Dad's letter? Her mother reaches out a hand, but the girl flinches away, not out of anger, but confusion, grief, a grief she never asked for. Mark steps toward her too quickly, his movements too sharp. Pumpkin, you do not understand how complicated adults can be. I did what I had to do. What you had to do, Judy repeats, her tone a scalpel. For whom? Mark straightens, the panic in his posture hardening into defensiveness. He was going to leave anyway. He could not handle responsibility. Someone had to keep the family stable. The girl shakes her head slowly. But he told me he loved me. He said a lot of things, Mark mutters. Judy lifts the blue file again. Including that he was coming back. The girl's eyes snap to the documents, the ignored messages, the unanswered calls, the timestamps that prove her father tried. She steps closer, hands shaking as she touches the corner of the page as though it might burn her. Why didn't you tell me? She whispers. Mark's jaw tightens, his voice sharpening. Because you needed structure, you needed certainty, and he was weak. The girl recoils as if struck. He wasn't weak. You said he was gone because of her. She points at Judy, but her hand wavers. You said she embarrassed him. You said she ruined him. Judy watches quietly, letting the truth form its own shape. The mother steps forward, her voice trembling. Honey, your father didn't leave because of Judge Judy. He left because he discovered something he needed to protect you from. Mark spins toward her. Do not twist this. You let him. Enough, Judy says softly, but with a force that stops every heartbeat in the room. The girl's expression shifts, a slow, painful unfolding of realization. Her uncle's words, once gospel, now sound like excuses. His tone, once comforting, now feels controlling. And his story, it no longer fits inside her memory of her father. She wraps her arms around herself, not in defiance, but in fear of what comes next. Uncle Mark, she whispers, why did you make me hate Dad? Mark tries to speak, but the sentence collapses before it forms. Judy leans in, her tone low, almost gentle. Child, sometimes people lie because they want to be the hero in a story that was never theirs to tell. The girl's eyes fill, the weight of truth finally touching the place where anger once lived. Mark's voice breaks as he blurts, there are things you do not know, things your father was hiding. The courtroom stills as Judge Judy reaches back into the blue file. Her hand closes around a sealed envelope the girl has never seen before. Mark's breath stops, and for the first time, he looks genuinely afraid. Judy lays the envelope flat on the bench, her fingers pressing against its edges as though weighing the significance inside. The seal is intact, crisp, never opened. The paper is older now, but not enough to hide the father's handwriting, strong, careful, unmistakably his. The girl steps forward, eyes wide, drawn to it like a memory she didn't know she'd forgotten. What is that? Judy's tone softens. A message addressed to you. Mark jolts. No, that cannot be right. He never wrote anything else. Judy silences him with a single raised hand, her eyes never leaving the envelope. This was found tucked behind the statement you altered. You hid the note written for her, but you were careless. The mother gasps, covering her mouth. The girl looks between them, her face cracking as she tries to understand the betrayal unfolding in front of her. Judy breaks the seal with slow precision. The sound is tiny, but its weight fills the room like thunder. She unfolds the letter, her gaze sweeping over the words before she begins to read aloud, not theatrically, but with the gentle clarity of someone returning a truth to its rightful owner. My sweet girl, she reads, I am leaving for a little while, not because I want to, but because there are things happening here I cannot let you see. Mark's face drains of color. The girl's lips part. He never said that. Judy continues, her voice steady. I have discovered something that puts us all at risk. I will return when I can, when it is safe. Until then, know this. I love you more than my own breath. You are my sunlight, even on my darkest days. The girl begins to cry silently, tears sliding down her cheeks without permission. The kind that come not from sadness, but from the shock of finally being believed. Mark shifts in place, his composure unraveling. He lied. He was unstable. Be quiet, Judy snaps, not loudly, but with a finality that cuts the air clean. She lifts another sheet, a printed record of the calls and messages the father made after leaving. Timestamp after timestamp, each one unanswered. Your father tried to come back, Judy says, repeatedly. The girl turns to Mark, trembling. You told me he never wanted me. Mark's voice drops into frantic pleading. I did it to protect you. He was dangerous. For whom? Judy demands. For her or for you? Mark's mouth opens, but guilt rushes in before excuses can form. He sways, suddenly smaller. The girl clutches the letter to her chest, as if holding her father's intention can rewrite the years of lies. Uncle Mark, she whispers, what did you do to him? Mark's eyes dart wildly, to the floor, the ceiling, anywhere that is not her gaze. And then Judy places one last document on the bench, a printout of a blocked caller list. The father's number appears on it, again and again and again. Judy looks at Mark with cold precision. You did not just lie to this child, she says. You cut off every path her father had to reach her. The letter trembles in her hands before she even reads the final line. Her breath is thin, frayed, like she is learning how to breathe for the first time. Judge Judy watches carefully, knowing this moment is not about justice. It is about a child breaking open. The girl clutches the letter against her chest, fingers digging into the paper as though she could anchor herself to the father she lost and the truth she never received. The courtroom feels impossibly silent, the kind of silence that carries weight, that presses gently but firmly against every person in the room. Her eyes stay down, refusing to lift, even when Mark reaches a hand toward her. Pumpkin! She jerks away violently, the motion instinctive, raw. The first real fracture in their bond appears in that single movement, sharp enough to make Mark recoil. Judy keeps her tone steady. Child, take your time. But time is the last thing she has control over. Everything she believed, the narrative she wrapped around herself to make sense of losing her father, is unraveling faster than she can hold it. She opens the letter again, reading the words through a blur of tears. I will return when it is safe. I love you more than my own breath. The girl's shoulders cave forward. A sound escapes her, a small whimper, heartbreaking in its simplicity. It is not anger. It is not defiance. It is the ache of a child realizing the person she grieved was never gone by choice. Her mother steps toward her, hesitant, as though afraid to break her all over again. Sweetheart, I did not know what he wrote. I should have read it. I should have protected you. But the girl is no longer listening. Her world has shifted its axis. Her hands tremble so hard the letter shakes like a leaf in the wind. She finally forces her gaze upward, not toward Mark, not toward her mother, but toward the space in front of her, as if trying to see a man who is no longer there but whose love fills the room. He tried, she whispers. The words wobble. He tried to come back. Judy nods once, her expression softening with something almost maternal. Yes, he did. The girl turns to Mark, and the change in her is unmistakable. Her anger has drained, leaving only clarity and a painful new awareness. Why? She asks, voice breaking. Why did you say he did not want me? Mark swallows hard, sweat gathering at his brow. You do not understand. No, Judy interrupts sharply. You do not understand what you took from her. The girl wraps her arms around herself, hugging the letter to her chest like a shield. Each breath she takes is shallow, uneven, the kind of breathing people do when their heart is trying to rearrange itself. Her knees almost buckle. The mother reaches her in time, pulling her into an embrace that should have happened years earlier. The girl buries her face in her mother's shoulder, sobs quiet and restrained, more like mourning than crying. Judy lowers her eyes, giving the moment the dignity it deserves. Then she lifts her chin, fixing her gaze on Mark. Your lies broke this child, Judy says softly, and now she deserves the truth you tried to bury. Mark's breath stutters as Judy's stare pins him in place. The child clings to her father's letter like a lifeline, and the room waits, because whatever comes next will expose who Mark really is. Mark shifts on his feet, suddenly aware of how exposed he is beneath the courtroom lights. The confidence he walked in with has drained from him completely, leaving behind a jittery, fragmented man. His collar is damp with sweat, his hands tremble, but his eyes search the child's face with a desperation that borders on pleading. Pumpkin, listen to me, he says, voice cracking at the edges. Everything I did because I love you. The girl lifts her head slowly, pain sharpening her features. If you loved me, she whispers, why did you make me hate Dad? Mark flinches. It is subtle, but Judy catches it. The moment truth hits him harder than accusation. He runs a hand over his face, trying to steady himself. You do not know what he was like, he mutters. He made promises he couldn't keep. He was irresponsible. He didn't deserve you. The mother's jaw tightens. That is not your decision to make. Mark rounds on her. Someone had to make it. He was falling apart and you were too blind to see it. Judy leans forward. And so you rewrote the story. Mark stops. The words hit him like a blow to the chest, not because they are harsh, but because they are true. You told this child her father abandoned her, Judy continues. You fabricated letters. You cut off contact. That is not love, Mr. Miller. That is control. Mark's voice rises defensively. I was trying to protect her from disappointment. No, Judy counters. You were trying to protect yourself. The room stills. Even Mark freezes. Judy gestures to the girl, her small form shaking in her mother's arms. You wanted to be the hero, the only stable figure, the only voice she listened to. The girl's eyes widen, not in fear, but in realization. You said Dad left because he didn't care, she murmurs. But he was trying to come back. He was trying to come back to me. Mark's shoulders drop, his chest rising and falling unevenly. You don't understand, he chokes. When he returned, he would have exposed everything. I would have lost you. You would have turned to him again, and after everything I gave, after everything I held together, how was I supposed to watch that happen? Judy's expression softens, but not with sympathy, with clarity. So, your version of love was possession. Mark sinks into the nearest chair, as though gravity has finally found him. His hands shake against his knees. The child watches him, her face a mixture of heartbreak and dawning understanding. The mental shift of someone finally seeing how deep the deception ran. Her voice is soft, fragile. Uncle Mark, you weren't trying to protect me. You were trying to keep me. Mark's eyes glisten with something like regret, but it comes too late. Too thin to hold weight. Judy folds her hands. And now, sir, she must learn the truth her father died carrying. Mark looks up sharply, fear blazing across his face. Judy reaches for a second sealed envelope. Because your brother left behind one more message, and it exposes everything you tried to hide. The second envelope lies between Judy's fingers like a ghost. Thin, pale, and full of unfinished breath, the girl holds her own breath, afraid to blink. Mark's face collapses into something hollow, like he already knows what's inside. Judy does not open the envelope right away. She studies it with the seriousness of someone preparing to exhume a truth long buried. The paper has yellowed slightly at the edges, but the handwriting, that unmistakable looping script, is still alive with urgency. This, Judy says quietly, was found hidden in a book your uncle donated after your father vanished. The mother gasps. The girl grips the arms of her chair. Mark pales. Judy slides a thumbnail beneath the seal and breaks it open. The sound feels like the room tearing. She unfolds the letter slowly, scanning it first, her eyes narrowing with each line. When she finally speaks, her voice is a careful blade. If you are reading this, then I did not make it back. The girl cries out, a small broken sound, but Judy lifts a hand, not to silence her, but to hold the moment steady. She continues, I have uncovered something in this family that puts my daughter in danger. I needed time to gather proof, to expose the person responsible. I believe they will come after me before I can return. If that happens, you must protect her. Tell her the truth, even if it destroys me. Mark bolts upright. That's not real. He was paranoid. Judy's gaze slices through him. Sit down. He does, legs folding beneath him like wet paper. Judy turns back to the letter. The manipulation began slowly. Lies told in whispers. Documents altered, conversations twisted. Someone in this house wanted control, not over me, but over her. And they will not stop unless the truth comes out. The mother's hand flies to her mouth. The girl trembles violently, hugging herself as though her small body must hold all the truth at once. Mark's eyes dart around the room, searching for escape, for denial, for a version of reality he can still control. Judy reads the final lines, softer now. My daughter deserves a life free of the poison someone close to her is planting. If I fail, promise me she will know. I left because I loved her, and because the danger was already inside the family. The room collapses into stillness. The mother sobs. The girl stares at Mark, not with uncertainty, not with confusion, but with recognition. Because she knows exactly who her father was describing. Mark lunges forward. He lied. He hated me. He wanted to take her away. Enough, Judy says, her tone dropping into a deadly calm. She holds the letter up like a mirror. Your brother suspected you were manipulating his child. He tried to protect her, and he died before he could finish what he started. Mark freezes completely, as if the words finally strike bone. The girl steps back from him, tears silently streaming. Her father did not abandon her. He was running from the very man who stood pretending to love her. Judy closes the letter gently. "Mr. Miller," she says, "the truth your brother died carrying is about to change everything." Mark's knees buckle before he even realizes he's falling. The girl steps backward, as if distance alone can protect her from the man she once trusted more than anyone. Judge Judy watches not with triumph, but with the solemn acceptance of a truth finally surfacing. Mark sinks into the chair as though it has swallowed him whole. His hands grip the edges, knuckles white, body trembling like a man only now realizing the damage he has done. The courtroom no longer feels like a stage he can control. It feels like the place where every lie he built is returning to collect its debt. His voice arrives, cracked, uncertain. "I never wanted this to happen." The girl wraps her arms around herself, the father's letter pressed against her chest. She cannot look at him, not anymore. The betrayal is too large. It stretches across the years, filling the space between them like a shadow she never knew she was living in. Her mother kneels beside her, one hand on the girl's back, whispering apologies that come out more like confessions. "I should have protected you. I should have seen what he was doing." Mark lifts his head, eyes bloodshot. "You think I wanted to hurt her?" he demands, but his anger has no edge now. It's limp, defeated. "I was the one who stayed. I was the one who took care of everything when your husband, when he couldn't." Judy keeps her voice steady. "You stayed because it made you feel important. And you pushed her father out of the picture because you knew you would lose that power." Mark shakes his head violently, fingers digging into his hair. No, you don't understand. He was planning to take her away from me. He said I was too involved, that I made decisions that weren't mine to make." The mother stiffens. "Because they weren't." Mark's chest heaves, breath coming too fast, too uneven. "He said I was poisoning her, that I twisted things, that I undermined him." His voice cracks. "But I only did what I thought was right. I was trying to fix the chaos he created." Judy steps in, her voice lower, colder. "He didn't fear chaos, he feared you." The room stills. Mark freezes. The words lodge in his throat like stones. Judy opens the father's second letter again, tapping the line that sealed the truth. "The danger is inside the family." "You were the danger," Judy says softly, "and deep down, you knew it." Mark's face collapses, the last of his defenses shattering. I never meant for him not to come back." Tears spill freely now, stripping him of every facade he ever wore. "I just wanted her to choose me. I didn't think he'd actually disappear." The girl finally looks at him, but there is no anger, no fear, just a quiet, devastating clarity. "You took him from me," she whispers, "and you took me from him." Mark breaks. His sobs are messy, uncontrolled, the kind that shake the body from the inside out. The courtroom watches a man unravel, not because he is caught, but because the truth has nowhere left to hide. He buries his face in his hands. "I'm sorry," he chokes. "I'm so sorry." Judy lets the moment settle, the weight of it filling every corner of the room. Then she lifts her gaze, deliberate, steady. "Sorry," she says quietly. "Won't give this child back the years your lies stole from her. Now she deserves to hear what her father wanted her to know." Judge Judy taps the bench once, softly, not for order, but for courage. The girl lifts her tear-swollen eyes, clutching the letter as though it might disappear if she loosens her grip. This is no longer about evidence. It's about restoring a child's stolen truth. The room settles into a fragile quiet, the kind that forms after a devastating storm. Mark's sobs still hang in the edges of the space, but the focus has shifted, entirely, undeniably, to the child whose world has just been rewritten. Judy leans forward, folding her hands as if holding something delicate between them. "Child," she says gently, "come here." The girl hesitates, then steps forward with soft, uncertain movements. Her mother follows closely, one hand hovering near her back, afraid to touch, afraid not to. The girl stops in front of the bench, her fingers tightening around her father's letters until the paper crinkles. Judy's voice softens into something steady, something safe. "Your father wanted you to know the truth, Not the one others invented, not the one that protected adults, the one he carried for you. The girl wipes her cheeks with the back of her hand, leaving streaks of grief behind. He really tried to come back? Judy nods. Yes, he tried many times. And none of his messages reached you because someone decided you didn't need to see them. The girl's lips tremble. I would have answered. I would have told him I didn't hate him. Judy's expression softens with an ache that only wisdom carries. He knew you didn't hate him. That is why he fought so hard to return. The mother steps closer, her voice barely above a breath. Sweetheart, he loved you more than anything. Every moment he was gone, he was trying to protect you. The girl turns toward her mother, but her eyes still flick back to Judy, the one figure in the room who has not lied to her. Can you tell me what else he said? She asks. I want to hear his words. Judy lifts the second envelope, unfolded but handled with care. He wrote that he feared someone close to the family was manipulating you. He did not want you growing up believing love was control. The girl's gaze flickers toward Mark, who cannot lift his head. Judy continues, her tone gentle but firm. Your father wanted you to know you were never a burden, never a mistake. You were his light, his reason for fighting. He didn't leave because he stopped loving you. He left because he loved you too much to let danger touch you. A sound escapes the girl, a soft, aching exhale. It's not a sob, not yet. It is the release of pressure built across years of confusion, anger, and longing. Her mother kneels beside her, pulling her into her arms. This time, the girl does not resist. She falls into her mother's embrace, clinging tightly, the letters pressed between them like a bridge being rebuilt in real time. Judy lets the moment settle, the healing tentative but real. When the girl finally lifts her head again, her voice is quiet, fragile. So, my dad never stopped loving me. Not for a single second, Judy replies. A small, trembling smile flickers across the girl's face, the first hint of light in the darkness she has carried. Judy nods, satisfied, then turns her attention back to the man who broke that light for his own gain. Mr. Miller, she says, it's time you told her the truth, the whole truth, no matter how much it hurts you. Mark lifts his head slowly, eyes red, breath unsteady, a man standing at the edge of his own unraveling. The girl waits, clutching her father's letter like a fragile shield. If Mark wants redemption, this is the only moment he will ever have to claim it. Mark looks around the courtroom as if seeing it for the first time. The lights, the audience, the cameras, the bench. None of them matter. Only two faces anchor him, the child who once believed every word he spoke, and the judge who now holds the truth he tried to bury. His voice arrives small. I didn't mean to hurt her. Judy leans back slightly. Her posture neither inviting nor dismissive, simply observant. Intent does not erase impact, she says, but honesty can help you face it. The girl lifts her chin, her voice trembling. Uncle Mark, why did you do it? The question isn't loud. It doesn't have to be. It slices precisely where it needs to. Mark's shoulders fold inward. Because I was afraid, he whispers. Your father was everything I wasn't. People liked him. They trusted him. You adored him. His breath shudders. And when I saw him pulling away from the family, I panicked. The mother's voice breaks. Pulling away? He was trying to protect us. Mark shakes his head, tears streaking down his face. He told me I was interfering too much. He said I made decisions that weren't mine. He said I was confusing you. He looks at the girl. That you were starting to believe I was more of a parent than he was. The girl freezes, the words hitting a wound she didn't know existed. Mark's voice cracks further. He wanted to set boundaries, and I couldn't handle that. I felt like I was losing you, losing the only role in life where I mattered. Judy folds her hands. So you lied. He nods, broken. I lied. First a small lie, then a bigger one. Then, it became easier to keep lying than to face what I'd done. Judy's tone softens, but only for the girl. Child, look at him, the girl reluctantly does. Judy continues. What you are seeing is not strength. It's not love. It's fear. A grown man so afraid of being irrelevant that he built a world where you had to depend on him. The girl swallows hard, eyes filling again. I thought you were saving me. Mark collapses into sob, loud, messy, the sound of a lifetime of insecurity smashing open. I wanted to be needed, he chokes. I wanted to be someone important. I wanted you to choose me. The mother steps protectively in front of her daughter. You were supposed to love her, not keep her. Mark's gaze falls to the floor. I'm sorry, he whispers. I don't know how to undo it. Judy lets silence settle, a final chance for him to rise to humanity or collapse back into excuses. When she speaks, her voice is calm but carries the weight of judgment. You cannot undo what you've done, but you can face it with honesty. Start there. Mark looks up at the girl, eyes pleading. I never stopped caring about you, not once. The girl studies him, not with anger, but with the painful clarity of truth. Caring, she says softly, isn't supposed to hurt this much. Judy closes the blue file slowly, signaling the end of this chapter and the beginning of the verdict to come. She turns toward the bench, gavel resting beside her hand. It's time, she says, to decide what justice looks like for this child. Before the verdict comes, ask yourself, should someone who caused this much pain be forgiven or simply held accountable? Judge Judy rests her fingertips on the gavel, but she does not lift it yet. The girl stands beside her mother, smaller than she's ever been, yet somehow stronger. This verdict is not about punishment. It is about rebuilding what lies destroyed. The courtroom no longer crackles with accusation or denial. Instead, the air holds the heavy stillness of truth settling into place. Mark sits slumped in his chair, staring at his trembling hands, unable to meet anyone's eyes. His facade is gone. His power is gone. All that remains is the wreckage of what he chose to create. Judy studies him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she turns her attention to the girl, the heart of the case, the reason every word today has mattered. Child, she says gently, step forward. The girl hesitates, then releases her mother's hand and moves toward the bench. Her father's letter remains clutched in her fingers, worn now from the number of times she has held it, pressed it to her heart, cried into it. It is no longer just paper, it is truth restored. Judy leans forward, softening her voice. You have been lied to, manipulated, used as the centerpiece of a story you did not write. Your father loved you. His words prove that. And the lies told about him were meant to control you, not protect you. Tears gather in the girl's eyes, but she holds steady. I want things to be normal again. Judy nods. Normal may not look like what you remember, but healing is possible, and it begins with boundaries. She lifts the gavel, not to strike, but to gesture toward Mark. Mr. Miller, you will have no guardianship authority over this child, no decision-making rights. Any contact will be supervised until a licensed family professional confirms it is emotionally safe for her. Mark closes his eyes, absorbing the weight of what he's lost. It is not custody. It is not authority. It is her trust, the only thing he truly wanted and the one thing he destroyed. Judy continues, voice unwavering. You will also attend counseling, not for her sake, for yours. You must understand why your fear became her burden. Mark nods slowly, tears slipping down his cheeks. I'll do whatever it takes. Judy does not comfort him, but she does not condemn him either. Her role is truth, not vengeance. She turns back to the girl, her expression warming with something soft, protective. Your father would be proud of you, she says. You showed strength today, the kind born from pain, yes, but also from courage. The girl presses her lips together, a trembling smile breaking through. Thank you, she whispers. Her mother pulls her close, wrapping both arms around her. And for the first time since stepping into the courtroom, the girl does not look afraid. She looks understood. Judy lifts the gavel, letting the room fall silent around her. This hearing is concluded, she says, voice calm and resolute. Let truth be the foundation this family rebuilds on. She strikes the gavel once, a sound that feels less like a sentence and more like a promise.